Well, it rocked our community to its core after WDSU Investigates first uncovered the horrific abuse of a nonverbal boy by his own mother. We exposed that Brian Vasquez was failed by not only his mom, but the system that was meant to protect him. Tonight, we are pushing for change and asking authorities for some answers.
WDSU investigative reporter Aubrey Killian uncovers failures that doctors, lawmakers, and judges say are putting our kids at risk.
Just 3 months into life, Brian Vasquez's nightmare begins. New Orleans East, 2013. A skull fracture, brain swelling, broken legs, punctured lungs. His own mother, Hilda, convicted of abusing him, causing a traumatic brain injury.
For one, he should have never been sent back home.
This former Department of Children and Family Services worker spoke to WDSU Investigates, asking we not reveal their identity.
And there's no accountability across the board.
While the former employee didn't work Brian's case,
they're technically supposed to have around 15 cases. These workers now are carrying anywhere from 80 to over 100 cases, which is extremely unrealistic. There was a lot of things that I put to the side. It was kind of either that or this child is going to die.
Records show in 2013, DCFS took Brian into their care because he was in danger. After parental classes, his mother was given probation and he returned home. Fast forward to 2022, DCFS returns. That's after a report of a lack of supervision over Brian. Brian had scratches on his body, but investigators couldn't validate any abuse. Then this August, Brian vanishes. He left his home. 12 days later, he was found dead, surrounded by alligators. Both of Brian's arms severed. Hilda arrested again.
To have a child that's permanently damaged, medically having issues for the rest of their life, that is now dead, I can't wrap my brain around that. They knew.
What are we doing to protect these children?
Georgina Jaston lives along the lagoon where Brian was found. She gave WDSU Investigates new video from the search.
The lady down the block said she's seen him, so we're just tracking him down.
This video still haunts her.
Even if it's a shadow.
The most outrageous, like an alligator? Your mom breaking your bones at 6 months?
WDSU Investigates obtained these documents through a public records request. They show DCFS reported more than 121,000 investigations over 6 years statewide.
It obviously isn't just happening here.
Of those cases, nearly 22,000 were in the New Orleans area. 98% of those reports were in a family home. And in New Orleans, only 1 in 4 cases had enough evidence to prove child abuse. This does not include pending in other cases. And since 2011, DCFS has lost more than 2,600 employees. That's roughly 20% of its total staff. Of those employees, about 369 left in the New Orleans office in that same time period. We asked DCFS to go on camera multiple times for this investigation. They declined.
What we've been doing is not working.
So we traveled to Baton Rouge.
I'm telling you, I am so frustrated and I'm so angry.
Speaking with stakeholders at the Child Abuse Task Force hearings.
It is still very hard to keep the child safe the way the system is designed right now.
Metairie child psychiatrist Dr. Kimberly Kavanaugh spoke in graphic detail about the cases she's seen.
I think he was trying to kill me.
She says improvements are needed for training and abuse reporting, especially for kids who can't speak. Are kids in Louisiana at risk?
Absolutely. I've sat on hold with DCFS for 45 to 50 minutes.
Dr. Bear Burge sits on the task force with the Children's Bureau of New Orleans.
And sometimes with law enforcement, we'll be like, well, you need to come drive to the parish and come over to the parish and make the report. Emergency room doctors are not driving over the parish line.
Dr. Rebecca Hook with DCFS is on the task force, and she acknowledged shortfalls.
And law enforcement still doesn't have a process in place that I'm aware of for them to know if they are receiving everything that we get, I guess, initially. So that's where potentially some children could fall through the cracks.
Other issues brought up: no solid statewide system and broken communication between offices.
But that's something that we are working on, right?
I don't know that there is a plan.
And in the room, Dean of Loyola Law and retired Judge Madeline Landrieu. WDSU Investigates uncovered records showing she disagreed with Brian, reuniting with his mother back in 2014.
What I can say is it's tragic. What happened, and the investigation really needs to uncover. Somebody needs to do a deep dive into that investigation to determine where the system might, either the child protection system, the court system, where the systems might have, and law enforcement as well, right, intersected to prevent a tragedy like that.
And the former DCFS employee says unless change happens, it's only a matter of time before another child ends up like Brian.
Like, I would probably just hold him and cry because it's heartbreaking. I can't imagine like what he went through and what he felt and what he had to endure every day.
So again, DCFS declined to go on camera for this investigation. They asked we send written questions instead, so we did that, and they didn't respond to any of them. Aubrey Killian, WDSU Investigates.
WDSU Investigates worked with our national data team on the staggering data we uncovered in this investigation. We have information on substantiated abuse cases by region, foster care reports, employee turnover rates, and their department policies, all in detail on the Child Protective Services investigation in Louisiana and in the greater New Orleans area. You can read that for more information right now by going to the WDSU mobile app.